You're listening to Podcast PXN,
a video game podcast
delivering player experience news.
Let's go! What's up, guys, and welcome to Podcast PXN, episode 213. I am one of your hosts, Daniel Prindle, aka Dan is DTM on Twitter, and I'm joined over Discord by the Nintendo aficionado and artist extraordinaire, Roshan Warner, at Roro.
Hello. Gotta go fast, Dan.
Gotta go fast. Indeed. And we're going to go fast. And while we're running fast, we're going to remember the two men, Christian Macias and Gage Dempster. They're not here this week, but we still think about them running fast. I don't know.
Amen.
And we also think about the people in the chat. Thank you to everyone who is watching us live and participating in that chat. Just as a reminder, we are live each and every Wednesday at 8 p.m. Eastern Time on youtube.com/@podcastpxn and twitch.tv/podcastpxn as well. The topic of the show this week, Ro, is our discussion surrounding what maybe we're going to see from an Xbox restructure now that Activision Blizzard has been acquired officially, I guess. But first, the show always starts with the quick bites, so let's go ahead and jump right in. The first item on our quick bites row: PlayStation is apparently under pressure to make major acquisitions, analysts believe. And of course, you know, we have to believe the analysts here, Ro.
Whoever they may be.
Yes, exactly. This comes from GameIndustry.biz. And apparently after the deal of Activision Blizzard, at the risk of hyperbole, I believe we will see a significantly changed video game industry once the two companies are fully integrated. In the US, we only have two big publicly traded video game studios left, and even those have been perpetual acquisition targets for several years now, coming from Canton Games CEO Dr. Sirkin Toto. As a game creator, I applaud the success of any company, let it be small or large. That said, I am worried about any company getting a clear upper hand and final word in the games market. So we just have to wait and see how other huge gaming behemoths react to this outcome. That comes from Imre Gil, formerly co-founder of Bosa Studios. IDG Consulting's VP of Consulting, Emily Avera, says the acquisition signals a promising future for the involved brands, likening it to the combination of Marvel, Pixar, and Lucasfilm under Disney in terms of cultural footprint. In particular, she notes the opportunity to revive old franchises, etc., etc. So there's a lot here, but anyways, they're basically, the analysts are saying that they want to stay active in M&A, which is, I believe, acquisitions, some sort of shorthand for that. And they anticipate further investments, including a large acquisition from Sony, and expects Sony to leverage film, TV, music, games, and more to bolster their cross-entertainment lineup. So, what do we think of the SCU?
Oh God, I want it to end already, and hasn't already begun. I'm glad the Microsoft thing is over, but I mean, I'm there's some positives and negatives I think we could all get from that acquisition, and but I am glad it's over. But with that being said, I don't want this to be like a trend, I guess, in the industry where like just everybody's just picking up who they can to be on their side. So I guess they bolster their studios, which I understand from a business perspective. It just kind of sucks from a consumer perspective. With that being said as well, I can see maybe Capcom or Square Enix being one of those studios that Sony would want to purchase. I don't know if Capcom would want to do that. I think, was it Capcom?
Yeah.
Recently that said that they're definitely not looking to do that. Yeah, so Capcom is, I guess, out of the picture. But Square Enix has been trying to, like, they got rid of all their Western studios recently. So it's possible for them, I guess, and they make sense for PlayStation. But in a perfect world, I wouldn't want that to happen.
Right.
But even right now, they're barely publishing on Xbox as is.
It's true.
So
Yeah.
yeah.
Really, not much would change in that regard.
Yeah.
Yeah. We made that prediction, a long time ago on this podcast. So, it's got to come true, right? We're never wrong.
And we're the analysts that they were talking about.
Yeah. Yeah. They called us. All right. The next quick bite we've got here, Kevin Afghani has been announced as the new voice of Mario and Super Mario Brothers Wonder, replacing, of course, Charles Martinet, who is the illustrious former voice of Mario. People were digging for everything they could find to figure this out, and Nintendo finally was like, all right, here he is.
Hell yeah. I'm excited for him. Big shoes to fill. It's so funny to say that when the voice is like, there's not very much lines,
Right.
I guess, but it's such an iconic voice and character. So Charles Martinet is an absolute legend. He hasn't gone anywhere. But I'm good luck to Kevin, and hopefully the community treats him well.
Yeah.
Already seeing some crazy stuff on Twitter, but Twitter is not the best place to judge an entire community, I guess. But yeah, I'm excited for Mario Bros. Wonder, regardless, and I think he sounded good in the trailer at least.
Yeah, and he's kind of, again, like when they got Charles Martinet, he's kind of a undiscovered voice for the most part.
Yeah.
Like, he's done the other things, but nothing huge like this.
Yeah, which is, again, like just like they were saying with Charles, like it's crazy. Like, imagine being Mario now.
Yeah.
After that's awesome.
Insane. Almost as insane as this, City Skylines 2 developer has said that the game will launch with some performance issues. The developer and publisher of City Skylines 2 has admitted the game's performance isn't up to scratch, but insisted they will launch the hotly anticipated City Builder on PC as planned on October 24th, which is just a little over a week away. City Skylines 2 is a next-gen title, and naturally it demands certain hardware requirements. With that said, while our team has worked tirelessly to deliver the best experience possible, we have not achieved the benchmark we targeted. So I like the transparency here, but maybe we should have delayed. Yeah. And the other thing, this doesn't feel great because they already announced that the console versions were delayed. So, like, it's only coming on PC as it is, and it's coming with performance issues. I don't know.
Yeah, that's weird, especially if they already delayed the console and may as well just delay the PC one too and make sure it's good. But I agree that it's good that they at least set the expectations, letting people know that if they don't want to buy it right away while we fix it, just so you know. But I don't know. Not everybody's going to see this at the same time. So, yeah, it would have been better to just delay it, in my opinion, as well.
Yes. I'm worried because that's on my fantasy critic. And,
delay it so the scores are are better as well.
Yeah. Well, because I don't know. I guess we'll see what the scores end up being, but maybe I get negative points.
Right? Yeah, maybe they do like the review in progress stuff where they don't review it at all.
That's a good point as well.
Oh boy.
I think Christian's gonna win. I've been saying it.
Crazy.
Moving on to our next quick bite. Assassin's Creed Nexus has gotten some impressions. Of course, this is the VR version of the next Assassin's Creed game. But I found this interesting because this game was not really on my radar much at all until I read this, and this actually makes it sound really awesome. Of course, I'm a huge Assassin's Creed fan, so for this to get me back in, it probably doesn't take a whole hell of a lot, but it sounds cool what they're describing. So this is from IGN, Travis Northup. He says, my demo focused on Ezio in Italy, where I went on a series of missions that involved sneaking around to steal things, tailing unscrupulous sorts, running along walls and across rooftops to get from place to place, and when all else failed, running fools through with the pointy end of my blade. Sneaking around is predictably a lot of fun. I mean, who doesn't want to live out the thrill of crouching behind a crate as a baddie walks by, or holding your breath as you snatch a key from the hip of an unsuspecting guard? Stealth mechanics can already be pretty stressful, but experiencing the tension of almost getting caught from a first-person perspective is downright nerve-wracking and hilarious. Moving down a little bit further, he says, but the real fun came when it was time to take the leap of faith off the side of a building into a pile of hay that waited below. That is insane. Like, I can't even imagine, like, I'd be having a heart attack jumping off of
Me
that.
too. Yeah. That sounds scary.
Yeah.
But everything else before that sounded pretty fun. But I'm not a huge Assassin's Creed fan, so obviously you said that this sounds up your alley. I'm also not a big VR guy either, so
Fair.
I guess not a lot that they could do to win me over, unfortunately. But
Yeah.
I what I heard, how he described it, that sounded like a fun experience. I don't know if I would go out and buy a VR system for it,
Right.
but like if I was at a friend's house or if it was at an arcade, that definitely would be something I'd want to try for sure.
Yes, absolutely. He does say the combat is a little rough around the edges, so maybe they'll tweak that a bit. But yeah, I'd be interested. Maybe I won't get it at launch or anything, but maybe on sale or something, I'll pick this up and check it out. Sounds cool. And I love Ezio. He's my favorite assassin. So bring him back. All right. Moving on. Koji Kondo is apparently the sound director, not designer, on Super Mario Brothers Wonder, and he also composed some of the music himself. I know a lot of people were curious about this, so Nintendo actually, or Koji himself, confirmed that he is, in fact, not only the sound director, but helped on the music as well. That's very cool. All these years, and he's still doing it.
Yeah. Crazy. I think it was like 80s he started there or something.
That's insane.
Yeah. Holy crap. Good for him.
Yeah. Very
and good for us. We got more music from him.
Yeah, exactly. More freaking classic hits to be on Super Mario Movie 2.
Oh boy.
All right. Moving on from there. You've never played Alan Wake, right?
No. Is there a way I could?
There is. You can sorta replay Alan Wake in Fortnite, and it is out now. They contracted out some developers. So Remedy, I believe, helped a little bit, but also Zen Creative Studios, as well as Spiral House, which is a UK-based developer. They all made this experience that is supposed to basically like walk you through the original game's story by showing like little clips and, you interacting with the environments and stuff like that. So it's very fascinating, like what they're doing here for sure.
That's cool. Huh. Pretty neat. Alan Wake it's coming to PC, obviously. Is it an Epic Games exclusive? It's not, right? Store exclusive.
Alan Wake 2, I think, has like a marketing partner. I think Remedy has a marketing partnership with them on PC. I don't know if it's exclusive, though.
Okay.
I think it's still coming to Steam, I believe. Unless I'm wrong. Oh, it is not. It is a Epic Games exclusive on PC.
Yeah. Okay.
So
I was going to say, like, you don't really need a huge excuse to be partnered with Fortnite to do a crossover event, but that even makes even more sense now that why they're doing it. But cool.
Very cool. Very cool. Although not really cool that Epic had to lay off, people to get the. That's another story. All right, the last quick bite here, Ro. Starfield has been announced as the #1 selling game in September. This comes from Okami13_ on Twitter. Starfield was the #1 selling game in September and is number 7 overall for 2023 in the United States. That's pretty insane, especially for being a Game Pass title as well. Yeah, that's actually pretty significant. And Hogwarts Legacy is number 1 on this list for 2023, which I did not expect to see that. That's interesting. For best selling thus far this year.
Yeah. Good for Starfield. And like you said, a Game Pass game, that's pretty impressive that it was able to still sell so much. Phantom Liberty, I'm looking at a list of other September games. Phantom Liberty also came out that month.
Yeah.
Trying to see some other big ones.
Uh,
Baldur's Gate
yeah.
also came out that month.
True.
So yeah, had some pretty good competition actually. So yeah.
Which Baldur's Gate didn't even make the top 20, it looks like, for the whole year. This is for the whole year stats. But also it only launched on PC, right? Did it come to PlayStation yet? Or
Oh, that's true. It has a delayed release, I guess, on console.
Yeah.
That is true.
Interesting. All right. Let's move into the PXN news of the week, Ro. I've got this pretty light stacked here because I feel like we have a lot in the topic of the show. So, we went through the quick bites quick for once, we're going quick.
Did it?
Yes. So the only PXN news of the week item I put here, apparently Best Buy announced that it's exiting the physical media business for good in 2024. So obviously with the new PlayStation 5 digital edition and them refreshing that console to be a digital version first, and then, you add the disc tray if you want it. The Series X rumor or leaked images without the disc tray. Is this spelling doom, Ro, for the end of physical games sooner than we thought?
I think yes, unfortunately. I feel like so many different, especially in tech, so many different stores, GameSpot, Best Buy, or Best Buy being the biggest, I guess, right now, just full out, just not doing it. But I feel like a lot of other places are also slowly moving to where Best Buy is going to be next year, which is a bit of a bummer, whether it be games coming with just the codes or just not doing a physical release at all with like Alan Wake 2. It does seem like a lot more companies are just trying to just do all digital, which it's kind of sad. I don't know what the last time I went into a Best Buy, to be quite honest, was.
True.
Them being all
Uh-oh. I think is that on my end, Ro? Can you hear me? Hello? Ro? Hello? 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 Well, we have lost Ro, ladies and gentlemen. Well, I'll just talk about what my thoughts are while we're waiting on him to rejoin. I think it's a very fascinating conversation to have about physical versus digital and the implications of that. And used game business. The used game business is very influential on GameStop sales and these physical retailers that may rely on it. And honestly, the end of physical media is going to spell out doom for GameStop and the likes of those, because that's what the business model that they've relied on for all these years. Like, we've all been talking about the possible end of GameStop, and I think this is actually smart of Best Buy to get ahead of that, because they have to be able to show that their business is worth something other than physical media, like physical games and physical music, because that's not going to always be there. So them getting ahead of it, I think, is actually kind of smart. And they've already kind of pivoted anyways to, major electronics that cost, thousands of dollars, like TVs and entertainment systems and all of that stuff, and even like appliances and that kind of stuff. But anyways, we're not talking about that aspect. But yeah, physical, I hate that physical is going away just as an option. Like, I personally have just been buying digital only content for so long now, pretty much since probably a year or two into the last gen of Xbox One and PS4. I've been all digital. So honestly, it doesn't really affect me that much, but I do understand people's frustration who want to still have that used game experience and want to have a cheaper option out there in order to purchase things. Bro, you're back.
Oh god.
Hello.
I don't know what happened. Obviously my internet went out, but I don't know why it went out. That was so weird.
Yeah, I
Sorry
heard
about that. I was just about to get on my phone, and then
I heard you
and then
like
it came back on.
it was like spitter spattering your words, and I was like, what is happening here? And then I just filled for the whole time while you were getting back on. Then, so
Thank you.
yeah. So what were you saying? I'm sorry. About
What was I saying?
Best
I was
Buy
saying,
accident. Yeah.
yeah, it's just a bummer. I'm trying to understand what would be the. Is there a benefit for Best Buy, or is this just the way that the industry is going? Was my question. Like, is like, yeah, it seems like it's the way that the industry is going with how, like you were mentioning, with PlayStation just having two versions, the digital one being the cheapest one, the add-on being so expensive, Xbox doing the all-digital console supposedly for their next iteration of Xbox Series X, Switch kind of being the only one that just you can put cartridges in this, and the next system will have the cartridge option too. To my knowledge, there's not going to be two different versions. But yeah, it's kind of sad to see that go away. As gamers, I know we love our physical media and our boxes on the shelves and stuff. Yeah.
And honestly, I think you're like spot on there. I think Best Buy knows that. Like they're trying to get ahead of it. Like I think that they pretty much see the writing on the wall that physical stuff is going away. And I briefly touched on it a little bit ago while you were off and said like I think that they're very much trying to say like to their investors and to their, corporate, whatever, overlords, whatever you want to call them, that they have a plan in place. Like this is what we're pivoting to in terms of sales, and we're not going to rely on physical media because it's not going to be around for much longer, really. They've moved on to appliances and big entertainment purchases like TVs and entertainment systems like the consoles themselves or like sound systems, that kind of stuff. So but yeah, fucking could we, with this digital movement, could we fucking make it so that we could install digital games that we pre-order? Because like I fucking have Starfield that I couldn't pre-download because I didn't have the fucking code to put in. I can't pre-install Spider-Man that comes out on Friday because I got the collector's edition, which the code is fucking printed in the collector's edition. Well, could I download the game and then just hold it for me? And I don't know.
Definitely. If it really does get to a point where they're just sending us codes, or everything is just digital, if we ever get to that point where discs aren't an option, there definitely have to be ways that make it as convenient as
yes.
I mean, it is convenient. There are pros and cons to it. There's like, obviously it's on your system. You don't have to have a copy there. You get it right away if it's not a pre-order and stuff like that. There's different pros and cons to disc and digital, but having the copy means you definitely own it. Like no one's taking that away from you unless it gets stolen. Digital, there's like the store could go down if maybe you need internet to play the game. The company with Ubisoft, we had a story earlier this year where they just took away a couple games, and like I said, stores closes down as well. So if we do get to that point where it's all digital, they definitely have to make sure that we own these games that we're buying, and that it can't be so easily taken away, which the all digital future feels like we don't really own the stuff that we have.
Very true. Very true. That's a sad thought to even think about.
Yeah, I'm scared.
And even games like Destiny that they change so much, like you play that now, it's not the same game that launched. So,
it's not, yeah.
Yeah.
Damn.
All right. Bro, are you ready to dive into our fantasy critic check-in?
I am.
All right. Dive in. I think Sonic Superstars had a couple reviews last week, but it now has a bunch of reviews. It has a 75 score on OpenCritic.
I think it went down and then it went up a little bit and it went back down again. Stinks.
Fortunate. I'm looking at your list here and I can't help but I'm sorry. You have what 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6 in a row that I'm looking at that are all in the 70s, and I'm just like, fuck. That's
I only got 1, 2, 3 games above 70. Everything else on my list is in the 70s. So that's single digit scores for most of my games, which sucks.
I guess Endless Dungeon is on here also 79. That must have just got a fresh review as well because it's not finalized yet. It just says 79.
A fresh review that brought it down because the last time we were here it was an 80.
Oh,
and then it went down again.
Oh no.
Yeah. Why did they do this?
Sorry,
bro. Oh well. It's okay.
You also lost 7 points for Assassin's Creed Mirage.
I did.
I mean, that's not bad. You could have worse counter picks.
Yes.
What else did we have? We have a little game called Marvel's Spider-Man 2, and you talked about only having a handful of games above 70. That one is definitely one of them. It's at a 91 on OpenCritic. Banging.
Hell yeah. I'm Street Fighter 6 scored well by 1 point, but I'm surprised that Street Fighter 6 scored higher than Marvel's Spider-Man so far. But yeah, that's awesome. I can't wait to see people play that game. I can't wait to play it myself. The reviews are fun. Very excited for that game.
Hell yeah. It sounds awesome. And you know what? I just want to say in our little group chat when we were predicting before the reviews went out, I said high 80s, low 90s. Boom.
Nailed it.
Christian was a little more pessimistic in the comments.
8s. I was a little maybe too overexcited. I said it was going to be gaming's first 11 out of 10. But no, I guess not yet. That would be for the Spider-Man 3. Exactly.
Yeah.
Exactly.
All right, and then we have the final game in Fantasy Critic that got scored. Super Mario Brothers Wonder got a 92 on OpenCritic. Also, very high remarks for this game. A lot of people are buzzed about it as well as Spider-Man 2. And Christian is getting 24 points thus far from that.
Nice.
I told you he's going to win.
Yeah. That'll put him past you.
It will. Yeah. I'm sad
You still have a
about
lot
it.
of games, though.
I mean, yeah, but I got City Skylines 2 that fucking is releasing a broken game, apparently.
Mario RPG that you have.
That's true.
Alan Wake 2.
Yes, that one should be banging, I hope. A lot of upcoming games on the way. Very exciting. Slay the Princess coming from you as well on 10/20. Mm-hmm. So that one should be reviewed here soon as well, right?
Hopefully it gets reviews. I have a bunch of the last 2 games except Star Ocean, the second story or whatever, the RPG that looked really cool. I have indies as my backup plan here, which is definitely a risky move because it may not get enough reviews, but usually they score high. But I don't know if it's going to get enough high scores from enough outlets for the points to count, but we'll see.
Cross our fingers. And
yeah.
I'm going to hope for the opposite, that City Skylines 2 doesn't get enough reviews when that comes out next week. All right. Well, moving on from there, Ro, into what you got for me. Daniel, what you got for me? Well, Ro, I've got some exciting stuff for you. Assassin's Creed Mirage. I tried so hard on Monday night because I knew I wasn't going to play at all yesterday with Halo. Well, I'll talk about that in a second. And so Monday night, I fucking just played so long trying to get this fucking game finished. I'm very close. I'm on the final. I'm pretty sure what's the final set of like missions, like the final target, so to speak. So I really wanted to come on here today and say I finished a game, but I didn't. I didn't quite get there. But yeah, I'm very much enjoying it. I know Gage was kind of on the opposite spectrum from me on this game, but I very much enjoyed it and enjoyed that it's an actual like bite-sized way to enjoy the game instead of fucking 700 hours or however many hours Valhalla and Odyssey were.
Yeah.
Insane. But also, as I alluded to, Halo Infinite Season 5 came out yesterday, and I played that as soon as I got home from work, and it is so good. I love it so much. It's quite literally the best season that they've put out, and I know I said the same thing for Season 4, but literally, like, they keep making it better. Yeah, and, like, this season is packed with content. They added the 4JI stuff, which people have been playing with that, and it is so fucking cool. It blows my mind how cool some of the shit that they've come up with. Somebody made like a little like Halo Wars-esque like mini game where you put the markers where you place markers to move the Marines as like squads, and you can move them in, and then like there's Covenant on the other side that they go and fight. It's so fucking insane. I'm so excited to see what the community creates with the AI tools and multiplayer. Oh,
that's crazy. Like, I've only played a handful of those Forge maps in like way back when, so I can only imagine how much it's improved now. But it's always cool to see how the community takes those tools and just like make something that you're just like, how did you think of this?
yes.
And also, how is this working in the game right now? Like, how did you like? Yeah. What? How's this working? But yeah, that's awesome. I love that stuff.
And people have been wanting AI in Forge for a lot since Halo 3. Like, people have been fucking dying for this. And yeah,
they did it.
They did. Yeah. That's very cool. Very cool. But yes, that's enough gushing about Halo. Bro, anything you're cooking over there? What you got? What you got?
Finally.
Oh,
I played a video game.
Let's go. And it might be one of your fantasy.
It was, yes, one of my fantasy critic picks, Sonic Superstars. I got to play. I picked it up today actually. And I've been playing through the game as Amy first. You could obviously play as Sonic, Tails, Knuckles, and Amy. There might be another character, I don't know. Haven't really looked into it that much, but yeah, I'm having a good time with it. It's definitely classic Sonic 2D side-scrolling stuff. They have some really cool power-ups with the Chaos Emeralds this time. So if you have a blue Chaos Emerald, you could use it, and a bunch of whatever character you're playing will start running across the screen. Like, so it comes in handy for boss battles. There's another ability where you can see hidden platforms that can get you to secret areas. But yeah, I'm having a good time. I think the level design is really good. The music is kind of which is something that Sonic fans really like in their games to be banging because it's always so good. But this one's kind of a little lackluster, which is a little bit of a letdown. But yeah, as soon as there was a new character in this game called Fang is a returning character, but there's a new character. I'm blanking on the name, but that was kind of my point where I was like, why do we have this new character and they're kind of underutilizing it, at least where I am right now. And as soon as I had that thought, there was a really cute moment between Amy and the character in the game where you're like holding the character on your back, trying to save them through this level. And it was a really cool moment. I was like, oh, that's nice. Okay, you got me. That's why. So hopefully there's going to be some more interactions with that character later on. But with the classic Sonic games, they don't really talk. So it's just like it's like the Mario stuff where the story is told throughout and what's going on the screen. But yeah, it's a good time. Obviously, I haven't beat it yet. Hopefully by next week, I'll be able to tell you that. The bosses I haven't loved, though. There was one boss that I liked, but the bosses have been kind of so far. Wow. So I'm hoping the final boss is awesome, and I'm like, my mind is blown. But so far, the bosses haven't really rocked my socks yet. Liking the levels, but yeah, besides that, pretty good time. Pretty good Sonic time.
Oh yeah. Is the final boss Robotnik?
I don't know.
Oh,
Maybe.
I was just
Maybe.
guessing. I think that's the
It's
only
possible.
Sonic villain that I know. Is Robotnik.
Dr. Eggman.
Yeah.
Yeah, it's quite possible. Quite possible. It probably would be based on it being like classic Sonic stuff, not doing anything too crazy. But we shall see. We shall see. Maybe they'll just some random god shows up out of nowhere. It happens in Kirby all the time, so let's just say.
Or pull like a Super Smash Brothers, I think Melee with the massive hand.
Master Hand.
Yeah.
That'd be awesome.
Goofy shit that Nintendo comes up with. All right, bro. Let's move into the topic of the show. So, we're going to talk about what this Xbox restructure may look like. But before we get there, I've got some stories to talk about as well. Activision Blizzard has now officially been acquired by Microsoft after being approved by the CMA. It has finally been completed. It's done. Finito. It's over. Unless the FTC tries to force them to, break up. But doesn't seem like it's going to happen, but you never know.
I swear to God.
Yeah.
Don't you dare.
We'll be talking about it again a year from now. I don't know. Also, Phil Spencer had some comments that he's been, making. He went on the official Xbox podcast, which of course was formerly Major Nelson's podcast before he left Xbox. They've kind of retooled that podcast with Malik. Forget his last name. He always hosts the FanFest trivia, though. He's great. Malik, Jeff Rubenstein, and Tina Amini, formerly of IGN, which I think they do a great job as well. But they interviewed Phil, and he had some comments that he talked about on there as well. But before we get to those comments, Phil sent out a memo welcoming Activision Blizzard employees to Microsoft. He says, "We couldn't be more excited that Activision Blizzard employees are our colleagues, coworkers, and teammates. Bobby Kotick has agreed to remain in his role through the end of 2023, reporting directly to me to ensure a smooth and seamless integration. We look forward to working together as a unified team, and we will share more updates on our new organizational structure in the coming months." So I set this up as a different story. I guess I should just, go ahead and talk about that with this now. But yeah, Phil says that Bobby Kotick is only staying until the end of 2023. So yeah, I'm not going to read Bobby's email that he sent to ABK because it's just like, it reads like, ugh, I don't want to this from Bobby. So I guess it's good that Bobby's going to be gone starting 2024.
Yeah, that sounds good to me.
Yeah.
That's fine by me, and I'm sure a lot of employees at Activision are happy that he is gone as well.
Yes, and of course, it'd be very hard to basically, Phil come in and say, "All right, Bobby, go home," because Bobby, despite him being a piece of shit, he has a lot of institutional knowledge about what the going-ons are for Activision. Yeah. So a lot to catch up on, I'm sure.
Yeah, I wonder who's going to replace him.
Yeah, we might.
Interesting.
Yeah, we might be discussing that here in a minute. Yeah, people, hang on to your hats a little bit. Also, Phil had talked about also on that same podcast that no Activision Blizzard games will be coming to Game Pass until 2024. They're just starting the work in order to bring games to Game Pass, and the regulatory process made them wait until last week to start the work. So obviously they couldn't really do anything until then. So this isn't going to be like a Bethesda situation where, the acquisition for Bethesda happened and then literally like the same day or days later, we got a few Bethesda games on Game Pass. Seems like it's going to be a little bit more drawn out. And honestly, I wouldn't be surprised if they use that as like a marketing fuel for Game Pass and spread out Activision Blizzard games on Game Pass throughout, the first 6 months next year, or, the middle 6 months next year. Have a bunch of titles slowly add each month. They kind of gain some buzz.
Yeah, that seems like a good plan.
Yeah. I guess Dan should run Activision Blizzard.
Maybe you're the new CEO.
Yeah, Phil's got me on speed dial. Hey, Phil, remember when you helped me get my Xbox account unlocked because someone fucking locked it by accident? Remember that? Yeah, I could run Activision Blizzard for you.
You do it.
Yeah.
Do it. Huge PXN announcement.
Yeah. We're ending the show because there's a conflict of interest and Dan has to go work at Activision Blizzard. That's not happening. Phil also talked about traveling to all the new teams at Activision Blizzard King and asking them about their passion and what they want to work on, which is very, very cool. His comments that he made towards this, he was very open to the idea of going to these studios and saying, what do you guys want to work on? Not what have you been forced to work on in the past, like what do you guys want to do? And that's very exciting, on top of the fact that Phil has also been all in on revisiting older owned IP that people may want to revisit. So when he has these visits with these studios, maybe, Infinity Ward, this is just a crazy idea, but Infinity Ward wants to work on fucking, I don't know, Mech Assault. I don't know. Some crazy dormant Microsoft idea.
That's exactly where, exactly where my head went, but when I heard he was going around to different studios, when you mentioned that, I was like, what if he goes to the Call of Duty studios and they don't want to make Call of Duty?
Yeah.
And they just want to make something completely different, which is... it's very possible because he's been working on it for so long, but a big reason as to why they did this acquisition was for Call of Duty.
Yeah.
So obviously slowing down production on those games wouldn't be smart, but it'll be interesting to see if those studios who have been just like Call of Duty get a chance to work on something different.
I think what you might see is some spin-off teams, like, you've got Obsidian that made the small team that made Grounded. You've got Ninja Theory that made the small team that made that Blood game. What's it called? I forget. Like the hack and slash game. I can't. Yeah, that just shows how successful it was. I can't remember the name of it. But like the small teams, like maybe have like 10 people on this team to make some cool small experiences. I think that may happen. And also maybe the support studios like Raven's been stuck on Call of Duty Warzone because that's what they were thrown into. Or Beanox, who used to make the Spider-Man games back in, Activision's time. They've been stuck on Call of Duty as well. High Moon Studios, who used to make Transformers, they've been stuck on Call of Duty now too. They were stuck on Destiny when Bungie was with Activision on that. So, yeah, it would be cool to kind of let these studios just go wild, let them do what they want to do. That would be cool. But we were talking about Call of Duty, Ro. Call of Duty will have 100% parity of content on all platforms. Phil talked about this as well. Of course, he talked about this during their court proceedings with the FTC trial, but this is nice to actually hear him say it, that there will be parity across all platforms for content. We have no goal of somehow using Call of Duty to get you to buy an Xbox console, he says. And he confirms there will no longer be a platform exclusive beta anymore for Call of Duty, as PlayStation had a week and a half ago. So that's good. Stuff like that's annoying. So yeah,
absolutely. Hopefully they I'm sure they will. I don't have any reason to believe that they won't stick to that.
Yeah, but
it's like good for them for not being bitter. And it's like, you know what, PlayStation's been doing this to us this entire time. It's our turn now. I wouldn't even put it against them if they decided to do that.
Something funny that I saw? Somebody said that Well, back in the day, Microsoft had a 30-day exclusive DLC, or coming early 30 days to Xbox for Call of Duty, and then PlayStation got the exclusivity for like their exclusive content. Well, now, Call of Duty's coming to the Switch. Let's give Nintendo the exclusive
It's
content.
their turn. Get Mario's hat 30 days before no one else, because Nintendo would not allow that anywhere else.
No, yeah, that's fantastic. That's still wild that we're getting a Nintendo Call of Duty game again. That's insane.
I can't wait to see what that looks like.
Yeah, same.
That's got to be a Switch. Obviously, I would assume it's a Switch 2 thing, but I'm still curious to see what that would look like.
Very true. And then the last thing before we get into our other topic, Pete Hines has announced his retirement for November. He says, after 24 years, I've decided my time at Bethesda Softworks has come to an end. I am retiring and will begin an exciting new chapter of my life, exploring interests and passions, donating my time where I can, and taking more time to enjoy life. Hell yeah, I love that. This was not a decision I came to easily or quickly, but after an amazing career culminating in the incredible launch of Starfield, it feels like the time is right. This is certainly not goodbye by any means. My love of Bethesda and its people has never wavered, and I will never stop being part of this incredible community we have grown. Thank you to the hundreds and thousands of fans I've gotten to meet and talk to over the last 24 years. Your energy, creativity, and support has been a huge part of my journey. I look forward to experiencing the next part of the adventure alongside you. Working with the amazing people, teams, and studios at Bethesda has been the greatest experience of my life. I'm incredibly proud of everything we have done together, and I'm genuinely excited to see the amazing things they will create next. Love you guys, Pete. Oh, Uncle Pete. That was great. Yeah. I mean, Uncle Pete's walking away with a massive pile of cash, probably from that Microsoft acquisition from a couple of years ago. But this is awesome for him. That's really cool. Really great career. Pete's a great dude.
Yeah, perfect time for him to step away. Like you said, obviously the massive amounts of cash that he got, probably like you said, but also off the heels of Starfield, which did pretty good.
Good. All right, Ro. Let's dive into this. So Phil pretty much came out and said that they're going to be having restructuring after Bobby is gone, and now we see that Pete is leaving Bethesda, so they're without a leader come, after November. So it brings us to an interesting question of how are they going to reorganize, and who will be leading that charge? First, someone posted this, and I'm just like, this is fucking insane. The images of Xbox's first-party studios from 2017 compared to now. Fucking insane. In 2017, Microsoft owned Rare, Mohang, Turn 10, 343, The Coalition, and Xbox Games Publishing, which they're just publishing, so I don't even count them. So 5 developers they owned in 2017. They now own well over 5, like fucking 8 times 5. Like the massive graphic here. I don't need to go through all their developers, but you have Xbox Game Studios with fucking 12 or 15 developers in that bucket. You have Bethesda with about 9 to 10 developers in that bucket. You've got Activision with about 9 or 10 in that bucket. You've got Blizzard with about 9 or 10 in that bucket. You've got King with 11 game studios, which they're obviously mobile focused, but still the amount of fucking developers they have now is insane. Seeing the difference, I just cannot believe in 6 years that big of a difference is just wild to see.
Yeah, and I think, well, we kind of touched upon it last week, but it just shows how much the game industry can change so quickly.
Yeah.
Whether it be Xbox, PlayStation, Nintendo, it's just like anything could happen. It's like these analysts say they know what's going to happen. It's like, yeah, it's so unpredictable. I think maybe I'm not just as well versed as these analysts, maybe, but yeah, I just find it so interesting. Like you said, how quickly things can change and how drastically, like you said, it's a completely different Xbox. It looks like, well, potentially, we'll see what they do with these studios, but
Right.
it's definitely a big change.
Yeah, insane, and obviously qualitatively, quality wise, it doesn't necessarily compare to PlayStation, but the sheer number, like someone has a side by side, and you see Xbox Game Studios is slightly not as many developers as PlayStation Studios if you don't include ZeniMax, which is Bethesda, or Activision. But then you fucking throw them and it's like not even close. It's insane how many, yeah. And obviously Sony's quality, I think, is in a better place right now. But yeah, hopefully they can, fix some of that with their reorg, which I think it's going to be interesting. So their reorg, I'll give you my thoughts, and you may have some additional thoughts as well to add on, or if you have different thoughts. Here's what I was thinking. So you've got Xbox Game Studios, you've got Bethesda, you've got Activision, you got Blizzard. King, I don't really give a fuck. They're doing mobile, whatever.
Get out of here.
Yeah, I don't really give a shit. I think Matt Booty will continue to oversee Xbox Game Studios. I've talked about before, I'm not a huge Matt Booty fan, but whatever. He's already there. I think what's interesting is you could have Matt Booty report to Sarah Bond, which has been increasingly getting more and more workload as it seems Phil Spencer's trying to make her his successor when he inevitably retires. So you have Matt Booty, Xbox Game Studios, reporting to Sarah Bond. Sarah, of course, reports to Phil. You have got Bethesda, which is now without a leader. So Bethesda Publishing. And Pete Hines left, of course. Who could we bring in to Bethesda Publishing that would have as big of an impact on all of their developers? And who's someone that has been working with numerous developers within Bethesda? Todd Howard. Now, is that necessarily a good thing for Bethesda Game Studios? Maybe not. I don't know. It may take his attention away from Bethesda Game Studios from, their next game, Elder Scrolls or whatever. And maybe Todd doesn't want to do what Pete was doing. But I think it would make a lot of sense because he's already working with Machine Games on Indiana Jones. That's been confirmed. He's working with the Elder Scrolls Online team with Elder Scrolls Online. He's working, obviously, at Bethesda Game Studios with, Elder Scrolls 6 will be their next game. And he's working with the Fallout 76 team. So, I mean, he's already working with a bunch of the developers there. So I feel like that would be a decent fit. And then again, Todd Howard reports to Sarah Bond. Sarah goes to Phil. Now Activision is the tricky one, Rob. What the hell do we do with Activision? Activision has all these studios. I don't know what do we do with them. I'm gonna have to think about that one. That one has me stumped. What do we do with Activision?
In terms of who's going to lead Activision now?
Yeah. This is I did zero research on this, and I'm just pondering who could be a good fit. I know what my Blizzard answer is going to be, but I'm just trying to think of someone who would fit well into that mold. I feel like, gosh,
I'm so I have so little knowledge on a lot of the names in the game industry. Like you mentioned Todd Howard, like I know him. And then Pete Hines, like, yeah, I know him too. But outside of like, I know who Sarah Bond is, but like, if you were to ask me what her position is at Microsoft, I wouldn't be able to tell you
Totally
what it
fair.
is. I was like, oh man,
Totally
I don't
fair.
know.
Yes. That is totally fair. But yeah, Sarah is essentially like she is in line to replace Phil. I feel like.
Damn.
Yeah, they've been marketing her as the replacement. Not marketing, that's the wrong word. They've been like,
She's been
publicly,
doing
yeah,
the work, I guess.
yes. God, I'm gonna have to come back to this because I'm drawing a blank on who we could even put in that place. But Blizzard has, of course, the president of Blizzard right now is already Mike Ybarra, who is formerly of Xbox and came over, after their Blizzard had their turmoil and everything, came over to work at Blizzard. So I think that Mike would be a great, continuation. I think Mike has done a good job with Blizzard in terms of, managing the teams. Now, not to say they haven't made mistakes, because Overwatch 2, we've seen what's happened with that. I think Diablo 4, I think it launched well. I think there were definitely issues there, but overall, I think that Blizzard is in a decent spot. I don't think that they're necessarily. I don't know. Do you think differently? Now that I'm talking, I'm like, man, they've really made some mistakes lately.
I think Blizzard is definitely in a spot where they can improve for sure. Like whether it be with the Overwatch stuff is the biggest one for me. Even recently, they did a pretty bad rollout of the Diablo DLC pack-in that they did. So that wasn't a very smart Blizzard move. And I'm sure there's some Diablo 4 controversies that I'm forgetting about because that wasn't completely smooth of a launch either. So hopefully they do get some better leadership in that regard, because I think the games that they're making are great. I think Overwatch on its own is a great game. It's just a lot of weird and bad decisions that kind of bring that down reputation-wise. Because it's definitely not the worst rated game. It's definitely not the worst game on Steam, but reviews would say otherwise, unfortunately.
Yes.
But again, like who would be the person to usher that change? I generally have zero names in mind. I just know that I would hope that Xbox would be able to help them in that regard.
True. And maybe, maybe Mike reporting directly to Phil again will be like, yo, Mike, come on, man. We gotta fix this stuff.
What are you doing, dude?
Yeah. Sarah's position is CVP, by the way. Gaming Ecosystem Organization is her subtitle. Yeah. Is her, I guess, the division she's in. So, yeah. I think Sarah's going to be taking on a lot more responsibility, I feel like. And maybe Sarah, honestly, now that we're talking, maybe Sarah takes over the Activision stuff. Maybe that's Phil's way to get her. So then everybody's just reporting to Phil. You got Matt Booty, Todd Howard in this scenario, Sarah Bond, and Mike Ybarra all reporting to Phil Spencer directly. Maybe that would be a solution as well. I could see that.
It'd be a good group.
Yeah. Yeah. I love how we're talking about executives like, yeah, fuck yeah.
That's a good combination.
Yeah.
That's a good team.
Yeah. We're gonna really knock it out of the park, making all these millions of gamers so upset when we make stupid decisions. Yeah, I don't know. And then King just, whoever the fuck wants it, just give it to him. It's just
they can do whatever they want over
there.
Yeah, King, those little weirdos.
Although it is fascinating because I feel like Microsoft and Phil's had this conversation before about wanting to start their own store on mobile, like an Xbox store on mobile. And like King obviously is huge into mobile, and maybe they, lean into the brands that are now all part of Xbox and make some mobile focused games. Obviously, let's not fucking just make, Halo on mobile and just call it a day. Like, let's make some catered experiences for mobile. I feel like those experiences can be good.
Halo Wars would be cool on mobile. I feel
That
like that type of game.
that's something I want now. Fuck, bro.
Oops.
That's incredible. I love that idea. Like, fucking use your finger to circle what units you want to select.
Yeah.
What the fuck, bro? Now I want that. Probably not gonna happen.
Can't you like stream it mobile? Obviously, you have to use your controller, but
yes, yeah, you can, yeah. But like a fucking one made natively for mobile where you could draw. Oh my god, I
Halo
want
Wars
that
for iPad.
Yes, I would want that. It sounds stupid, but I would want that. That would be awesome. God, and you use the multi-touch to move around the map? Fuck, man.
Maybe I should lead King.
Yes, I'll lead Activision. That's what we forgot. I'm leading Activision. You're leading King, and we all report to Sarah Bond. Boom.
There we go.
That's it.
We're solved.
Yep. We got to tell the boys we're leaving Podcast PXN to run Blizzard, Activision and King. Yeah. Or you know what? You could run Blizzard and King. How about that? Since you know how to fix Overwatch.
I don't know about that. I definitely could make it. I feel like it could make it slightly better.
Yeah.
But not by much.
You know what?
It will go from mostly negative to very negative on Steam.
You're a big fan. I'm sure the fans would be behind you.
Thank you.
Okay. So one last thing I wanted to mention, because I think this is too fascinating not to mention. So Call of Duty League right now, which is their competitive scene for Call of Duty, and Halo Championship Series, which is the competitive scene for Halo, they're doing their own things. They're getting outside vendors to help them run these tournaments and such. You know what Microsoft just bought? Xbox just bought with this acquisition of Activision? What? Activision owned MLG, which is the Major League Gaming brand, which literally started competitive gaming all those years ago, 20 plus years ago. Like literally the original MLG. They bought them and then killed them, as Activision tended to do, is kill things. And they're a dead brand right now. But fuck, if you brought them back, yeah, and built an incredible first-party competitive tournament gaming company within Xbox that could handle your Halo events, your Call of Duty events, because Call of Duty has one of the biggest competitive scenes in the entire world. Like, that would be a no-brainer. You've got the fucking tools there. And one of the original co-founders of MLG, he also started something called Esports Engine, which has been doing the Halo events. They've been helping a lot with them. And he is currently, I think he's retired or he's, not doing it anymore. And he posted on Twitter, I would love to bring back MLG and restart this brand, and Phil, call me. And like, that would be incredible. I would love to see that come back and, make a major comeback, I guess.
Major league return, Oh man. Now Sony has Evo now, right? Sony has Evo, and now Xbox potentially has MLG.
Yeah.
That could be a cool little back and forth, but
and then they'll make a game where it'll be MLG versus Evo, and then the opposite game, Evo versus MLG, which will never come out because it didn't get successful enough. Like Tekken. What was it? Tekken versus Street Fighter?
Yeah.
And the other one didn't ever come out because they're like, nope, we're just not doing it.
No one's playing this.
Yeah.
So sad.
So funny. Yeah. That would be cool, though. I would love to see that. MLG. Game battles. Shout out to game battles back in the day. Halo 2, Halo 3. Good
I
times.
love a good competition. I don't watch a lot of Call of Duty matches, but I used to watch some Overwatch ones. I don't know why I watched League of Legends, even though I know like nothing about that game. But I don't know, something about those events. They just the enthusiasm from the casters and like the audience can be kind of infectious. Where even though I don't know what the heck is going on, I started rooting for the teams for some reason.
It's
But,
exciting.
yeah, it is, yeah.
Like, yeah, the fucking competition is just insane. It's really fun to watch. Halo Championship Series this last weekend. Great. Fucking phase 1. Crazy.
FaZe Clan.
Yeah. They had to come from the elimination bracket to win. So they had to win 2 series of 7s to win.
Oh, Jesus.
Or best of 7s. Yeah. Insane.
Impressive, I must say.
Yes. All right, Ro. Anything else? Any other thoughts you have about this reorg, or anything in general before we close out?
No, I'm hoping that they're able to make some positive changes at the studios that need it.
Yes.
So we could have some better gaming experiences.
Yes. And fuck Bobby Kotick.
Just one more time before he goes.
Yes. Fuck you, Bobby. But thank you to everyone joining us live on YouTube and Twitch, as well as podcast services everywhere, including Apple Podcasts, Google Podcasts, Spotify, and everywhere else you get your podcasts. Thank you, Ro. Thank you, Christian and Gage, that are not here. I am Daniel, and this has been Podcast PXN, and we are out. Much love, and keep on gaming.
See ya. Gotta go fast.